I knew something was off the moment I saw the police car roll up. It wasn't a city-issued vehicle, just a beat-up black SUV with magnetic decals slapped on the side that read HOA Police. Now, I've dealt with plenty of strange things in my life, but this was the first time my own neighborhood had the audacity to try and arrest me. Little did they know, I wasn't just some random homeowner they could intimidate. I was an FBI agent. It started a few weeks earlier. I had just bought a house in a quiet suburban community. The neighborhood had a homeowners association, which I expected rules about keeping lawns tidy, not parking RVs in the driveway, that sort of thing. What I didn't expect was the HOA president, Mr. Collins, a man who thought he was the reincarnation of a dictator. He knocked on my door the very first day I moved in, clipboard in hand, lecturing me about my improper mailbox and how my curtains didn't meet the community standards. His tone was smug, entitled, and overbearing. I brushed him off politely, but inside, I was already wary. Over the next couple of weeks, things escalated. I got multiple violation notices taped to my door for ridiculous reasons. My grass was too green. My trash bins weren't facing the right direction, and even that, my car looked too official when parked outside. I drove a government-issued black sedan, but of course, couldn't exactly explain why to Mr. Collins. He and his little circle of self-appointed enforcers clearly had it out for me. The breaking point came one Saturday morning. I was making coffee when I heard pounding on my door. I opened it to find two men in cheap uniforms badges that looked like they came out of a Halloween store telling me I was under arrest for HOA violations. Behind them, that SUV with the HOA police logo idled in my driveway. One of them even had plastic handcuffs dangling from his belt. At first, I almost laughed, but then I realized they were serious. Neighbors had come outside, phones in, hand, watching this circus unfold. The officers barked at me to step outside. I calmly asked, under what authority? They told me the HOA police department had jurisdiction here and I had failed to comply with citations. That's when I knew they weren't just clowns. They were dangerous clowns. I played along, keeping my composure. All right, I said, let me just grab my ID. I stepped back inside, and when I came out, I wasn't holding my driver's license. I was holding my real FBI badge. Their faces drained of color instantly. I looked each of them in the eye and said, "You two just attempted to commit unlawful impersonation of law enforcement officers, attempted kidnapping, and harassment." The crowd of neighbors gasped. Suddenly, the show wasn't entertaining. Anymore, it was deadly serious. The fake officer stammered, insisting it was all a misunderstanding. Mr. Collins himself came running from down the street, sweating through his polo shirt, shouting, "This is all legal. I authorized it." That was the nail in the coffin. He'd orchestrated the whole thing. I calmly told him, "You just admitted to organizing a felony operation. Do you want to keep talking, or do you want to call a lawyer?" I called local. Police back up immediately. When the real officers arrived, the sight of their legitimate cruisers and uniforms was a relief to everyone except Collins and his cronies. The fake HOA cops were cuffed and taken away. Collins screamed about losing control of his neighborhood and tried to argue with the police. But the evidence was overwhelming. In the aftermath, the entire community was shaken. Neighbors who had once turned a blind eye to Collins's antics realized how far he had gone. Many came to me privately, apologizing for not speaking up sooner, admitting they too had been bullied into silence.
Ow.
The HOA was dissolved within weeks. After a petition swept through the neighborhood, what struck me most wasn't just the absurdity of it all, it was how entitlement, when left unchecked, can grow into something toxic and dangerous. Collins believed he was above the law, believed. His authority as HOA president gave him the right to control and intimidate. But when people stand up, when truth is revealed, that power crumbles fast. Looking back, I'm grateful the situation ended without anyone getting hurt. But I'll never forget the stunned look on those fake cops' faces when I revealed my badge. It was the moment the bullies realized they had picked the wrong target, and that's the message I want anyone listening to take away. Entitlement and abuse of power thrive on fear and silence. But when you stand firm, when you confront it with truth and courage, you can expose it for the fraud it is. No matter how small you feel, your voice matters. because at the end of the day, real authority doesn't come from titles or fake badges. It comes from integrity, justice, and doing what's right.